Welcome back, boys. We got the week 11 recap coming your way. We have two teams now who have clinched playoff spots. So the postseason race is definitely heating up. Nick, welcome back to the show. How are things going over there?
Things are going pretty well. Excited to have PC Principal on with us today, and excited to hear about them talk about their boys.
Yeah, so without that, any further ado, Coop, thanks for joining the show. Why don't you tell us how your boys are able to get it done this week in a big 151 to 124 victory over the Canned Pams?
Well, I mean, the keys to our victory this year have just been our big two wide receivers, Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill, constantly putting up big numbers. Tyreek Hill on his way to a 2,000-yard season. Keenan Allen still showing out, even though he's old. And then across all the Dolphins, from the quarterbacks to the defense, all played phenomenally this week. Even though Tua threw an interception, that's okay. And then the Dolphins putting up almost 30 points has been fantastic to round out a good week for me.
All right, so you currently sit at first place in the whole league, and you have the playoffs clinched. You have two big matchups to close out the year against two teams that are also currently sitting in the playoffs. Are you worried about seeding right now, or are you going to let the boys rest as you get ready for the playoffs?
I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know who I play week 13.
You play Tyler week 13.
Oh, then fuck no. I'm coming out swinging. This week is fuck Kleck season. Next week, fuck Clee season. That's all I got to say about that.
I love it. So we did actually have Cleese on the show. It was a couple weeks ago after one of his big performances. He's easily one of the hottest teams right now. And on Nick's personal sports book of For the Moms Fantasy, I have Cleesby right now as my betting favorite, and you just behind him at number 2. I gave him the opportunity to kind of, maybe get some of the potential championship preview shit talking going. I want to present the floor to you to do the same.
Well, to start, fuck Clee season.
Okay, of course.
As
of course.
Always. And the only thing I can think to say is just remind him he still doesn't have a championship in For the Moms, I don't think. Is that correct, Nick?
I'm going to come back here and take a quick peek. I do not see him on here. No, I don't.
That's right. So my whole entire goal this year is just going to be keeping his name off that trophy. That's all I want to do.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Scoop.
On the flip side here, we had the Canned Pams putting up 124. They find themselves in the loss column again. They now sit in last place in the league. Lamar with 28 and Ayuk with 28 were really the only two to show up. Everyone else under 20, a whole bunch of single digits. We do want to put our prayers up for Cooper Kupp. Hope he has a speedy recovery. He would leave the game with an injury. But really, just more of the same for this team. Not too much to talk about. They find themselves losing another one.
We also want to put prayers up for Aaron Jones on Coop's team. Suffered an MCL sprain. Hope he's back soon.
All right, moving on to our second matchup of the week. We had Sticky Mistakes taking down FaZe Kev with a 136 to 89 performance. Jalen Hurts having himself a solid day. Not able to find the end zone in the air, but able to score twice on the ground, able to get 21 points. B-Rob also getting 21 points. He's quietly been one of the better fantasy running backs on the year this year. DJ Moore doing his thing, getting 22. And then really some good work from the specialists and James Cook in his debut for this. Or no, he played last week. But in the second week for this team, proven to be playing good after they got him in a trade. And then Justin Tucker and Houston Texans defense playing well to round it out for this one. It would be enough for them this week. They improved 7-4. Their playoff spot is all but locked up. It would take a nearly impossible scenario for them to miss at this point.
Yeah, and for FaZe Kev, talk about having worst week of the season at quite literally the most inopportune time. this team was going into the week battling for a playoff spot potentially, and then to have, again, this type of letdown is definitely not what they wanted to see. Starting out with kind of a shocker for me when I looked at this matchup today. CJ Stroud playing over Josh Allen. What's going on there? Where's the Brian Windhorst meme? What's going on at FaZe Kev? You know, so that's a little concerning. Running backs both put up duds this week. Eckler and Javonte Williams. Amon-Ra continues to show out each and every week. But outside of that, also wanted to shout out Nico Collins. Pretty solid day from him. But like outside of that, a lot of duds to go around. Jake Ferguson, not too much. Specialist didn't really do anything. 3 points there. Marquise Brown really didn't do anything. So yeah, quite literally the worst time to have your worst week of the season. Hopefully for FaZe Kev, he's able to bounce back in rivalry week and maybe make a playoff push still, but it seems unlikely at this point.
All right, our third matchup of the week, we had the Cleveland Steamers getting themselves a big fourth win. They take down the Philly Cheekles 129-112. Nick, tell us how your boys were able to get it done this week.
Yeah, so big emphasis going into the week. The Eagles had a bye last week, and we recently acquired Smitty. So honestly, one of the biggest points of emphasis of the week was Odell and us reaching out to Sticky Mistakes to try to make sure that we got the link, you know, sorted out and ready to roll come this week, you know, with Smitty going against his former team. And, you know, we spent most of the week trying to get that thing worked out. Smitty actually being one of the only people who was able to produce as a receiver in that game. So we're really happy with that. We're really happy with Odell reaching out, doing his thing as a team leader, and Sticky Mistakes for, you know, really trusting in our man. So I wanted to make sure to shout out Smitty this week. Also want to shout out our two running backs, Papa Shad, Jalen Warren, have been on an absolute heater recently. Both of these guys have just been showing out. Even though like Jalen Warren limited touches, he had that huge 75-yard run in the Cleveland game. So like both of those guys have been huge for us. And then, you know, from everybody else, nothing was too pretty outside of those three guys. But again, it was just enough to put us right around that 130 mark and just get that gritty win this week. So really, really happy with the boys this week and coming out here with the victory.
Yeah, on the flip side for the Philly Cheekles here, a little bit of a disappointing performance. They had some bright spots, like you've been saying all year. Herbert had himself a very solid day, 30 points. Like we've been saying all season, it seems like both in real life and in fantasy, he's been playing great, but just can't get his team to victories. Would be the case for his team again this week, as they would find themselves coming up short to the Packers. Gus Edwards having himself a good day as well, 22 points, able to find the end zone twice. But the receivers were really what cost them. They acquired Stephon Diggs from Cleveland Steamers in exchange for Smitty, and he got outperformed by over 10 points in this one. And he gave up a bunch of draft picks with that, so that's just really not what you want to see from him in the revenge game, so to speak. And then Garrett Wilson straight up finishing with negative points as a receiver. You don't see that one too often. Hopefully he'll bounce back and finish out the season stronger than that. But Montgomery was able to have himself a good day as well. So like I said, there were some bright spots they could build off of, but they still have just quite yet to put it together. They find themselves on, I think, a 3-game losing streak now. So we'll see if they're able to string it together, finish the season here, and see if they're able to backdoor their way into the playoffs. Fourth matchup, we have WalllessPluto and Glizz Mafia. Glizz Mafia able to get themselves a big 8th win, clinching a playoff spot. 150-134 takedown of WalllessPluto.
Yeah. So Trevor Lawrence, thank you for not selling this week. Going from 1 point last week to 37.5 points this week. We like that. Thank you, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, huge game, 2 rushing touchdowns. That was huge. Devon A-Chain, we want to touch on it. We hope, again, like the reports at this point, it's been like most of it was precautionary for why they took him out with the tweak to the same knee. We hope it was truly just precautionary and he's able to get back out on the field soon, because he's been electric when he's had the ball in his hands all year. Tank Dell, let's talk about him. We've been talking about CD. We've been talking about AJ Brown. We've had Amari Cooper weeks from this team. Tank Dell with a true breakout performance game, coming out party for Tank Dell. Almost 31 points, 150 yards and a touchdown. Shout out Tank Dell and that Houston offense that's really been humming recently. And then also kicker again, Jason Myers, huge day. And I mean, Dallas D just keeps getting the bottom feeders of the league, and the defense has just been feasting on it for like the last 3 weeks now. They've just been playing absolute garbage teams, and the defense has been showing out. So that was really what rounded out the week for them and got them within a point of the Kiffin Award this week, and what I believe is their 6th straight win. So Glizz Mafia right now is on an absolute heater, heading into the playoffs with their playoff spot clinched.
And on the flip side here for WalllessPluto, they would show some great fight here, but they would come up short in the face of Glizz Mafia team that's just one of the hottest teams in fantasy football we've seen in a while right now. But for WalllessPluto, they really ran into trouble on Thursday night when Joe Burrow would go down. It would turn out he's out for the season. I believe it's a wrist injury, some kind of ligament injury. But he would finish with only 10 points, and most of the Bengals offense behind him would struggle on the day as a result. Jamar Chase, Boyd, both finishing in single digits. And then Mark Andrews going out as well. He would finish with only 3.8. So, yeah, prayers up for him. The running backs here, Gibbs and Barkley, would try to carry the workload for this team, which still was able to get them a pretty respectable score in the end. But that would not be enough this week. They find themselves with another loss. It does look like this team's heading for the toilet bowl, but they might be able to sneak out into the mediocrity bowl as they always seem to do. And then bringing up our 5th and final matchup of the week, we had yours truly, Texas size 10 fours. We had a big 137 to 119 takedown of FrancyFeast. And this was just a real team effort for us in this one. We were very happy with the fight our boys showed this week. Pretty much everyone getting 20 points across the board. Dak Prescott with 20 and 2 air touchdowns. McCaffrey with 20 and a touchdown. Walker would get hurt, so he would finish with only 2 points, but we're hoping he has a speedy recovery. He'll probably miss this next week as they play on Thursday, so with the quick turnaround, he'll probably be out. But that should be a problem that fixes itself going forward once he's able to get back to full health. Devontae, Puka Nacua, both around 20 each. Kelsey was a little bit of a down spot. He did not have himself the greatest of weeks this week. That is something we're going to have to address internally. But when you have someone who has as much fight as he does, that is not something we're worried about long term. DeAndre Swift able to get 20 of his own. Their line was 0, didn't even attempt a field goal. The Jets are just really bad right now. Steelers defense able to get 20. So mostly 20s across the board. You put all that together, it's going to be really hard to defeat us on a week in, week out basis. We were able to get the job done. Hats off to FrancyFeast. They were an excellent team. They showed great fight throughout this one.
Yeah, starting at the top here for FrancyFeast, Kyler and Mixon both played pretty well. Mixon, showing out on Thursday night after Joe Burrow went out. I thought he had an incredible game. Kyler Murray had a pretty solid outing as well, using his arm and his leg. His legs has been really good to just see Kyler Murray being able to still run kind of like he did pre-injury, so that was great to see. Kittle had himself another really nice day as he was north of 20 points again, as the 49ers offense just continues to produce week in and week out when 4 of their weapons are fully healthy. But they did have a couple duds here. Derrick Henry had himself a dud, only like 6 points, single digits. It's not something that you expect from him week in and week out. Also, Gabe Davis, a 0-point stinker for the second time in 3 weeks. And he didn't even get a target in this one. Like, this dude was actually straight up just doing cardio out there. So not something FrancyFeast wanted to see this week, especially as they're trying to, possibly escape the toilet bowl. But definitely something they need to address in the coming weeks because Gabe Davis and his volatility has not been great when he's been put in the starting lineup for this team.
All right. And with that, we're going to take a look ahead at the Week 12 schedule. So everyone knows what kind of action we have to look forward to this week. And it is Rivalry Week this week. So there should be a lot of hatred in the air for these matchups. First off, we have yours truly, Texas size 10-4s. We're sitting at 6-5. We're looking for a chance to clinch a playoff spot with a win in this one. Taking on the Philly Cheekles. They're sitting at 5-6. They've been on a little bit of a skid. We are fully expecting them to bounce back and have their A game this week. What up, boys? We got plenty of hatred in the air for us this week, and that's because we got the team with the worst logo and the worst team name in the league on the schedule for us this week. We once held dominance in this rivalry, but that was prior to this game being moved to Rivalry Week, and ever since we have lost 2 straight to this team, which both years would set up skids that would lead us straight into 4th place in the playoffs with no more wins following. That cannot be the case this year, and that is why we are very happy for our new team sponsor, Lowe's, for these brand new hats, as you can see here, reminding us to never stop improving, and that is going to be the focus of our team this week. Our captains, McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, and Travis Kelce have the boys working hard in practice. We're going to control the things we can control and give the Cheekles their best fight. And so our only message to Blake, just know we're coming. Second matchup, we got Cleveland Steamers taking on Canned Pams. Nick, do you have a quick word for the Canned Pams here?
Nothing needs to be said. You know the vibes.
We've had this date circled on our calendar since last year, when Brenden Lemp called the feds on our beloved team captain, Odell Beckham Jr. Now that in itself is enough to get the boys buzzing and ready for this ever-important matchup. But on top of that, in Week 2, against the Canned Pams, Nick Chubb suffers a horrific injury, and Lemp decided that he was going to take a little victory lap because he knew that with a full Chubb in that game, he stood no chance. The Canned Pams are the polar opposite of the Cleveland Steamers. Zero class, no culture, and they like to take potential career-altering injuries and use them as the punchline of their joke. Now, Odell, he could have easily made this week about himself for what he had to endure last year. But being the selfless leader that he is, he made it a priority to go out and win this game for Nick Chubb. Lemp, fuck you. And it's hands when I see you in Detroit.
Man, that was a crazy freaking night. I will give it to Odell though. That girl does know how to lay down a stinker. He was right about that. Shit, fuck. What time is it? Tuesday? Crap, I overslept. Gotta check the fantasy scores. Let's load up the scores here. Sleeper.com. Oh man, I'm gonna have to watch that. Oh, no way. No way. No way. Bro, what's all the noise about? I finally won fantasy. It says right here. See, front page news. Canned Pams win. Ha, my league must be fuming. No shot. In your dreams, bud. Wait a minute. Is this all just a dream? No! Man, what a crazy dream. Nice and fresh. Shoot, it is Tuesday though. Is it even worth checking fantasy? I mean, it is Rivalry Week. Probably a good chance of good news. All right. Let's check the notifications. Ha. Canned Pams at it again. And that'll do it. Just along with the script, another Thanksgiving weekend, another rivalry dub for the Canned Pams. All right. Well, Nick, thanks for watching my video. Another year, another week 12, another Thanksgiving that I hope you don't enjoy. I'd wish your team good luck also, but we know that's not going to change the outcome. Have a nice week, buddy.
All right. Third matchup, we got FaZe Cavs sitting at 5-6. Their season's hanging on by a thread. Taking on Glizz Mafia. They've clinched the playoff spot, but they're still looking to put the Michigan division away.
What's up, fellas? Happy Rivalry Week. Before we dig into FaZe Kev here, I thought we could dig through the last 7 weeks of carnage. First up here, WalllessPluto 84, back in week 5. L. Next up, Cleveland Steamers. Yep, we took a shit on their chest. Canned Pams. Jordan Addison. Enough said. Sticky Mistakes. At least you tried. FrancyFeast. L. Texas size 10-4s. Texas size L. WalllessPluto 84. Yet another L. Now this week, we'll try to continue that rampage. We go for 8 straight against our opponent, our rival this week, FaZe Kev. And you might think we're going to be coming in lightly because we just clinched a playoff spot. We're not going to be well motivated. And that's where you're wrong. This team beat us in the playoffs last year, and we're coming out to avenge that. We've had the FaZe symbol put up in the weight room, so they have to see it every time they work out, they sweat. We've implemented the beat FaZe Kev drill during practice. And so, yeah, Kev, you better strap on those big boy pants and be ready for war. Our final message to Kev would be FaZe down. And also, Kev, will have you like this by the end of the weekend.
Help!
Fourth matchup, we got WalllessPluto and FrancyFeast both sitting at 4-7. This is the last chance for both of them to backdoor out of the toilet bowl, so we'll see which one of them is able to keep their hopes alive just a little bit.
Well, FrancyFeast, we meet again. You know, it's not much of a feast, really, after I was there. Sorry, Lemp. But, so, I mean, your team name's a joke. Your quarterback's a joke. I mean, you have Kyler Murray as your franchise, and he's absolutely trash. Just like all the trash I see when I'm driving down Merriman Road. You know, I mean, you moved to Livonia, took L. Hope you're ready to take another one this week, buddy. You know, we're really going to be pooping a lot. We're going to be pooping all over you. So much that you might need a new $12,000 waste pipe again. Don't want to see that one happen, but, you know, some things you just can't predict. Like WalllessPluto making the best comeback ever and making the playoffs. You know, some things are just very unpredictable. So, we'll see, but we're going to leave it all out on the field this week. You know, we've been dry scooping the pre-workout, and we got your fucking number, buddy.
Noah, fuck you. Stay woke, bud.
And then last matchup, major playoff seeding, depending on the line. PC Principal sitting at 9-2, still trying to put away the number 1 overall seed, taking on Sticky Mistakes sitting at 7-4. They're trying to clinch themselves a playoff spot, though they'll probably still do so with a loss.
What up, boys? It's Rivalry Week. You know what that means. We're out here ready to kick Cooper's ass. I know that one-trick pony over there is probably talking all that smack, a whole lot of the same thing. He's got the one trick, whether or not it's talking about fantasy football success or the jokes. Nothing new ever. He's got that one measly little trophy there. It's a fluke. I'm coming for him. I'm going to knock him off his high horse, take him down a peg or two here, and remain the only person on that column of mine, on my trophy. All right? That boy's going down. He got nothing to show for it. He's going. It's it. Tyreek, who? Get out of here.
This week is fuck Kleck season. That's all I got to say about that.
And with that, we're going to take a quick look at the standings now. In the Michigan division, Glizz Mafia, they sit at 8-3 in first place, with Sticky Mistakes at 7-4 and Texas Side 7-4 is at 6-5 behind them, all in the playoffs. And then FrancyFeast and WalllessPluto both at 4-7, currently sitting in the toilet bowl. And then in the American division at 9-2, PC Principal, they have locked this division up. So now they're just battling to hold the number 1 overall seed. Philly Cheekles and FaZe Cavs still looking to backdoor sneak in as a wild card in the playoffs, but they're both currently in the Mediocrity Bowl. And then Cleveland Seniors at 4-7 and Canned Pams at 3-8 behind them, currently sitting in the toilet bowl. And that is all we have for you guys this week. Make sure you guys tune in again next week for all the Rivalry Week action. Nick, any final thoughts for the whole league as a whole before we get off here?
This is one of the most exciting weeks of the year. At least I feel this way. So have fun with it. Get your shit talking in, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right. Thanks to everyone again for tuning in. Make sure you come back next week. Peace out.